Welcome to another exciting episode of the Fight Insight podcast. Doing things a little bit differently today, but we're the podcast that brings you all the latest news, updates, and analysis from the world of mixed martial arts. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the world of MMA, discussing everything from the latest fights and results to upcoming events, fighter rankings, and much more. So whether you're a diehard fan of the sport or just getting started, we want you to sit back, relax, and get ready for another action-packed episode of Fight Insight. Hit it, Tim.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight Insight podcast. Let's talk.
That intro is a new intro brought to you by ChatGPT. It wrote that intro for us today, Brady Bunch. Our guest today is a young amateur fighter out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, who was supposed to be fighting this week at Havoc FC, but unfortunately, due to opponents pulling out, he's now left waiting for a future date, and he will make that walk again. With a background in Taekwondo and competing in marathons, this man is looking to make a statement in his next fight. But first, he comes to us to talk about the fight game and chasing your dream. Everybody, please welcome to the podcast, Robert Desharnais.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on? Hey, how are you, Robert?
Good, how are you?
My first public apology. I called you Mark Desharnais 1,000 times last podcast.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
For no...
you could have a stand-up comedy career, possibly. It was good. The delivery's perfect.
I apologize, my friend. Do you have a relative named Mark Desharnais? Maybe we could have him on
Not to my knowledge, no. But that's all right. No hard feelings whatsoever. It was good. No skin off my back.
No worries, no worries. So we're going to talk to you today to find out who you are. First question, why no nickname? I couldn't find one. Is there a nickname for Robert Desharnais?
Not that I have, no.
No?
I've had some people try and toss one off me back and forth, but I don't know. I've never felt too concerned with it. I'm pretty sure it's not always attached to fighters. I couldn't name one right now that doesn't have a fight name, though, to be honest.
No, there are several that don't have, but of course,
maybe like Daniel Cormier, but that's just his name short in DC, right?
Yeah. That doesn't really count. I thought of one while I was thinking. Okay, are you a betting man?
No. I got no luck for betting.
Okay. Well, don't worry. It is Robert. Add me to your parlay, Desharnais.
You think so, eh? Is it the rhyme? The rhyme?
Yeah, it's the rhyming of it. Yeah. It's it's the confidence. Add me to your parlay.
Could you say it 10 times fast?
No, you're definitely not.
There you
go. Robert, who is Robert out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada? Who are you as a young man and a fighter?
Man, I'm just your average guy. Living life, working hard. I didn't come from any outstanding beginnings, and I'm a decent, honest guy. Father, I got 4 kids, fiance, just, enjoy life one day at a time. One of my favorite quotes to live by is, buy the ticket, take the ride. I don't know if you know, that's from Hunter S. Thompson.
Nice.
To me, it's just like, take the shot, get out there, do something. Because, the only thing we have in life is time, right? So you just take your time and do something with it. So that's what I'm about, is just always trying something new, going after something. You can't shy away from living your life. I think, a lot of people want to tuck themselves indoors and, just live on social media or, bury themselves into work.
Yeah.
Good to try something.
Nice, man. And in truth, time is short as well, right? So take the most of it, take the advantage. We were talking before the podcast started, right? Like, live your life, go enjoy life. Don't get stuck in things.
It's all you got is time, right? And it's the only thing you can leave with is the time you've spent. So.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people may choose to do other things with their time, but you're choosing to try to beat people up. How did you go down the path to fighting?
I was born and raised into it. I think I was in Taekwondo as soon as I could walk, really, and it was just natural at that point. It was never something that I didn't see anything outside of it at a really young age. There was a time where I quit and had other focuses, got lost in time for a bit, but it was always in the back of my mind and kind of just looped back around as I got later into my years. It's like I don't think I could not fight. You know, as long as my body can do it, it's definitely something I want on the table.
Nice.
And I couldn't like tell you why. It's just like a gut thing. It's in there, you know. And I've done everything you can imagine for work, for a living, really, like trades work, cooking, cleaning, writing, tech, sales. Nothing tickles my fancy like fighting.
I get that.
Yeah. Nice. Now, your fight was supposed to be at Havoc FC, which is a local promotion out in Western Canada.
Yeah.
And you fought for them once before, and so you're supposed to fight again this weekend. So this was supposed to be a fight, like this was supposed to be fight week interview, which we love having fighters on for fight week. Right, last week, the fight gets canceled. Tell us, you know, as a young guy, you know, like limited opportunities to fight. How did that happen, and how did you feel when that all went down? That's an interesting emotion you must have.
Yeah, it's full of highs and lows. Everything I've encountered so far in the fight industry has always been highs and lows, and that's kind of with anything in life. So you know, it's always the excitement. Everything's signed. You know, you're set. The ball starts rolling. You know, and we had a pull out, and another name was offered, another pull out, and you know, just mix and match, and it just didn't work. And the time before the fight was just closing. I think we were about 5 days out. You know, we just couldn't come to an agreement, so they released the final card, the updated card. Everyone was on it, you know, except myself, right?
Yeah.
And then my opponents, obviously. And then, so after that was released, you know, the industry moves fast, life moves fast. You know, I've got other things too, so we started making contact with other people that were involved, and everything moves fast, right? And then after the main card was finally updated, then they came back out with another offer. And by then, I'd already... You know, I'm already committed full into moving on. I've already set the cogs in motion for everything else. So It was a bummer. I'd be open to doing it again, lining up again in the future. But I mean, it was never like we were talking before, MMA has never been my key focus. So while it's exciting to do, it's keeping me busy, and it's building up the resume, right? To get the eyes of other matchmakers. So yeah, bummed out, but there's always another fight, and there's always something else on the horizon, right? There's always going to be another fight somewhere.
Yeah. So okay, so then let's segue to that though, because what people may not know about you is that your true goal is
bare knuckle fighting. Yeah.
Boom, dude! I love bare knuckle.
Yeah, me too.
Brady Bunch is about to sign up for a bare knuckle fight.
Yeah.
I love watching bare knuckle. I would never do it. You got to be crazy, right? I'm not like you two.
I was in love with it, you know, as an early teenager on the internet. I was watching Kimbo Slice's backyard bare knuckle fights, and I fantasized back then about finding a way to jump the border and head down to Florida to do it, you know. But you know, obviously that never happened, and it's not something that's really available up here in Canada, you know. It's not even legal to compete bare knuckle here.
Right.
Not yet.
But when the pandemic like first sort of hit, and everything travel wise was locked down, Bare Knuckle FC actually invited me out to their first like organized tryout in Kansas City. The person invited me down, you know, on a week notice too, you know, so $3,000 later, you know, I've got places to stay, you know, hotels booked, flights booked, you know, I'm down there in a weekend, did the thing and jumped back out. And then just before, I think it was Boxing Day, just after that Christmas, the matchmaker reached out, said, we got you for a fight. I said, great, you know, he said, we'll be in touch, you know, in coming weeks. And that just never happened. So, you know, I kept going back and forth with him to different cards, different locations. You know, I'm getting more and more upset as time goes on, right? A whole year goes by, nothing's happened. And then I started having some back and forth with the president himself. And, you know, and he assures me they'll have a fight for me when he comes back up north. They come back up north in Montana. I go through the fight week, nothing. You know, I'm down there. So then I had my out with him. I said some words that maybe, were ill-advised at the time. You can't expect every fighter to act like an adult always. So they're probably not too happy with me there, and he's had me blocked since then. But that's okay.
Hey, join the club, my friend. I'm blocked from Dana. I'm blocked from ONE FC. Like, that's okay, man. Don't worry.
I got a few blocks. I'm not even sure what I did.
Yeah. So okay.
So you're talking about Feldman, CEO.
Yeah.
I fight. So the funny thing is, my silly organization that got me started is his older brother's org.
Oh yeah, celebrity boxing, right? Yeah.
We have had our screaming fights and some blocking. I hope, let's just say, doors reopened up, so I hope it happens for you.
Yeah, it would be nice. Bare knuckles my passion. It's what I would love to do.
I'm gonna throw one crazy comment out, and then Timmy, I know you want to say something. I'm speaking to the overseas BKFC bookers at the moment. So if you're down to go overseas, I could probably connect you to them.
Yeah, I would be down to do that. They actually, we recently started following each other to
Awesome.
mutual interest. No words exchanged, but yeah, I'd be down to it. I've talked to the other two big organizations, BYB and BKB, and nothing promising yet, but at least some mutual interest. So yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, can I? Okay, so Brady Bunch, obviously, is talking about BKFC Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and when you win, we expect this.
Welcome to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Ty Emery. Interesting celebration, right?
I love Ty, by the way. What a much move.
That ruffled some feathers, eh?
Yeah. That was crazy.
It's
Robert,
real quick. She got screwed in her last fight, by the way. It was disappointing.
But she'll be back. And she'll be on this podcast, by the way, as well. But Robert, so there's BKFC Thailand, which now you and Brady Bunch can go down there and dominate together.
Yeah.
We'll get you some Fight Insight tank tops to wear.
Yeah.
To the thing
like
as well.
Toe shirts when I got.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And okay, so bare knuckle, hopefully in your future. Yeah, there's BYB, there's BKB, there's a few, right? Organizations.
Shout out to Mel. Give me a fight, Mel.
Yeah. We know he watches this podcast. Damn it, he better. So
He knows I've been waiting to hear something from him for a while. So
nice. And you know what? Here's the thing. You have the look, my friend.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Robert Desharnais got a pretty cool look. I would say a very Canadian look as well.
I am Canadian.
But
that might be the takeaway.
You've got that kind of Canadian look, but you've got that rough, badass kind of look. Like, I feel like you'd be good for a bare knuckle organization, man.
Yeah, I would love it.
Yeah, dude, get it done.
I've been hitting a heavy big bare knuckle since I was 4 too. I mean, it's and that's how I think everybody sort of learns how to fight in the beginning, right?
Yeah. So now, when I was looking at your bio, there's one quick thing I wanted to ask you. Sorry, I'm going to be cognizant of time here because you got to go soon. I noticed that you weren't affiliated with a gym, my friend. What's going on there? Why not, and what's up?
Yeah, I won't name drop any gyms, but I've been in about a dozen different gyms here in Calgary and out in other places.
Okay.
And I was a member of one up until the pandemic. Kind of screwed with everything, and then at that point, I just sort of built my own gym and started hooking up with people here and there and making it more of like a controlled circle.
Okay. Yeah.
I do have my set on another location here in the future, just to shore up on some holes that I've got.
Yeah.
Obviously, but.
All right. Yeah, no, cool. I just want to make sure, because now that you're a true friend of the podcast, I only want to see you succeed. So, and the importance of getting with good people and being with a good team, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's definitely important to have good people around you. Yeah. And I've spent a lot of time with a lot of solid people,
Okay. Understanding that you do have to go, I do want to ask you one question that we are now asking everyone, Brady Bunch. Okay. So Robert, a question that my mother used to ask me growing up as a child, but I want to ask it now of all the people we have on this podcast. On a scale of 1 to 10, Robert, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Shit. I think it's all relative, buddy. I think it's all relative on your situation in the context of what you're doing and your time, your moments in time. Life's full of up and downs. You can be happy one moment, sad the next moment, frustrated, anything like that. But generally, yeah, I love life. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Got to make the best of it, right?
Yeah. No, you seem like such a happy dude, man, and I'm happy for you. I know that it sucks that this fight fell out for you.
Yeah. It is what it is, right? It is what.
But like you said, you're focused. You've got other things on the horizon, and I did have one fan question that wrote in, and I think this person knew a little bit, had some background information. They said you were offered an 0-0 opponent with Havoc, just with a few weeks or days to go, but unfortunately you turned it down. Yeah. But I feel like you kind of answered this because, hey, once everything got all sorted out, then these last minute.
I won't name drop anything again as well, but I mean, 0-0 is, there's only so much in this industry, right? I mean, you can have a black belt that's 0-0.
Right.
I mean, I'm no stranger to a scuffle. I'm not shy, but I'm not an idiot either, and it's an entertainment business, right? And when things move quick and decisions are made, it has a fallout, and everybody makes their own decisions.
Right.
And I wish the best from everybody, obviously, too. I mean, we're all out here doing the same thing, and I got no ill will on anybody. And
no, of course.
I just want to see everybody else succeed too, because it's a lonely sport and it's a singular sport, but it's got team environments to it too, And
Of course, and and what you're saying too, and I think, and we've touched upon this many times on the podcast, is you got to be smart with the people you're picking to fight. You know, you can't just be picking fights just for experience sake. Like, you got to pick fights that you think are right for you. Like you said, like if there's a black belt that's 0-0, you got to question what the hell's up with that. But like you got to pick the right fights for you. You got to plan around it, right? And so not always is the last minute fight the best thing when you're trying, especially when you're trying to grow your career, right? Hey, you're going to be talking to BKB. You want to be able to say that you're a successful fighter, not whatever. So
and being game for everything goes only so far, right? Yeah, you got to be smart about things too.
Yeah, no, definitely, my friend. Before we let you go, is there anything that you wanted to say to fans, friends, viewers, and listeners of the podcast, or anybody that you wanted to shout out?
Hey, just stay tuned for the next big thing. We're always going after the next big thing, right? New opportunities are always around the next corner. Other than that, just a big shout out to everyone that supported me all the way through this. Frank, Third Coast Shirts, Dorian, your graphic designer, Dorian Redden. I got my sponsor locally here, Hungry Volcano. You can check them out at www.hungryvolcano.com. Local, international shipping for all your hot sauce needs. Other than that, no, it's all good.
Nice. I love me some good hot sauce, and I saw those posts on your Instagram, so I'm definitely going to check them out. And I love the shirt that you're wearing. That's that third.
Yeah. So here, flipped around. Yeah. Frank over at Third Coast Shirts. Yeah.
Very nice. Robert, it was an honor and a pleasure to meet you, my friend, a fellow Canadian. So I'm happy to have you on. Next time you have a fight, we gotta get you back on the podcast so we can help you promo it. And all the best to you, my friend. Keep in touch.
Likewise. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you for your time.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
Take care. Cheers.
All right. See ya. Bye. All right. What a cool dude, man. And I apologize that I got his name wrong last podcast, but Robert Desharnais. Robert, add me to your parlay, Desharnais. What a cool kid, man, out in Calgary, Alberta. So wish him all the best. And Feldman, unblock him, you bastard.
Yeah, come on. What's with the Feldman brothers?
Jeez Louise. Everybody's blocking everybody now. Everybody's such a baby about things, He's dealing with bare knuckle fighters. Geez Louise, this is a different breed of people. You got to have thick skin, my friend. All right. Brady Bunch, thank you for coming on the podcast. And like I said, Chat GPT made our intro today. What did you think about it? Was it good?
I think it's pretty good. AI, but I think it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll start using it for some other things.
Yeah, I just checked it out today for the first time. I forget. I must have heard something on the radio or something, so I heard it. But all right, guys. Not fan questions next week on the podcast. Okay, so We like to bring you people from all over the place. If you're here watching because of Robert, thank you so much. But next week on the podcast, we're going back to the UFC. We've got Super Sadiq Yusuf coming on the podcast.
Dope.
All right. If you don't know this dude, he may be flying under your radar. But this guy has what I would say is the funniest Instagram of any UFC fighter right now. He's putting out his own fight pics, which he just does essentially a stand-up comedy routine while he does the fight pics. And the dude is funny as hell. So if you want to get prepped for next week's podcast, go over to Super Sadiq Yusuf's Instagram and check him out. But anyways, he's coming on. There's a couple other UFC fighters that have recently contacted me. There's a UFC fighter's husband that has contacted me. So we're getting lots of cool guests lined up. But next week, Super Sadiq Yusuf, and we're happy to have him on. He's from Dana White's Contender Series as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's 7-1 in the UFC, and he's on a 2-fight win streak.
Yes, right about the 2. I know.
Yeah. Friend of the podcast update, Gillian the Savage and Gillian the Savage Robertson. Why do I always get it mixed up? Gillian Anderson is the X-Files person. Gillian the Savage Robertson kicked ass on the weekend. Did you watch that fight, Brady Bunch?
You know what? I've only watched the replays.
Okay, but did you know that there was drama with her fight?
What was it?
So I'm going to play a little clip. So this is good that you don't know, I guess. This clip is a little bit edited, I feel. But here's kind of what happens at the end. Let's take a look at this. And please, God, YouTube, don't delete this part.
All right.
So, all right. Well, there's no sound. I didn't think there was no sound on this video. God damn it. But Gillian Anderson is fighting, gets the girl down into an arm bar. You see there the girl kind of taps maybe once. Now, the video is kind of cut funny and edited, so it looks like she's tapped twice because it kind of resets.
Yeah.
But she's tapping, essentially, she kind of taps once, then stops tapping. And when I say taps once, like she does one like that.
Yeah.
Then she stops and she's still struggling. The referee, Keith Peterson, no nonsense, goes over top of her after the tap, goes over her, is kind of looking for a second, and then breaks her off. And when he pulls it off, the girl underneath immediately is like, what the fuck? I didn't tap.
I didn't realize.
Then, okay, so I'm going to play it again now that I've said that, just so you can take a look. So she grabs her there. There's kind of like one-ish tap. Now that's the repeat of the same thing. And now here, see how Keith looks at her?
Yeah.
Like he kind of stands over her. I hope my voice plays over that. But you can see how he kind of looks at her for a second and then pulls her off. The amazing part, then when they go to call the fight, they go winner by verbal submission. What was the verbal submission? Like, there's no way the girl said tap, tap, tap. And then when Keith Peterson pulls her off, she goes, I didn't tap. I mean, if she said I submit, there's no way she would have contested it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her on any podcast or any interview after that kind of talks about it. I reached out to her, tried to get her on, haven't been successful, but ugh. Now, here's the thing, Brady Bunch. Everybody is like, well, she was going to snap the arm anyways.
She might have.
Okay.
Yes. That Ghost team doesn't play.
Yeah, Gosha does not play. We had, like I said, we had Gillian Robertson on our podcast, and we have a clip of her talking about, are you trying to snap arms? And she goes, yeah, I'm trying to break arms, which was perfect because then I released it right after this happened. But the thing is, here's my question to you, Brady Bunch. Is it the ref's job to stop the submission because he thinks the arm is going to snap?
So, do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
This is interesting.
I only want honest opinions.
I'm going to think in two different ways.
Yeah.
I see both sides in a way.
Okay.
One is I think a lot of fighters will sit there and tell you to the end of time, if I'm not tapping, let them try to break my arm, right?
Right.
The idea of a fighter's ego, but then I jump back to think of that disgusting Brazilian jiu-jitsu grappling match that I think was at one a couple months back when that dude basically shredded the other dude's leg because he refused to tap, right?
Yes.
So in that case, I don't think that guy is ever going to have a career again. I think it was really stupid. It was pure ego and pride.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I wish in that type of setting that, yes, someone should step in, right? So yeah, I also know that like I've been in situations training jujitsu in particular, where maybe due to inexperience or a weird angle,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been in close situations of really getting hurt a few times, right?
Because of your stubbornness to not tap, you mean?
Yes, meaning I like wait a little too long, and then I'm
Right.
like the next day I'm like, fuck, my fucking shoulder. Like, why did I go and do that, right? And
Right.
usually 9 out of 10 times when you're doing that, like, yes, you'll break free, get on top, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But more often than not, I think it's more like delaying the outcome sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So here it is. I think a ref should step in if they really believe that an injury could happen that could end someone's career. That situation, looking at the video, I don't know. I would have left. I think I would have let.
Yeah, I definitely think go back and watch the fight so you can see it.
Yeah.
Because it all happens in a fraction of a friggin' second, right?
Yeah.
I mean, snapping an arm can happen in a fraction of a second too, like as we saw with oh my goodness. Jessica Rose Clark when she got her arm snapped.
Yes.
Right? Like, shoot, that might just happen. And if you wrench on it quick, like, yeah, you're going to snap it. I'll say I was very surprised at the online people blasting the fact that they thought it was an appropriate stoppage, not because they think she tapped. There's obviously that argument that that one hit was a tap. Now, if you're a pro fighter, you know how to tap, you idiots. Like, we're not like if this girl meant to tap, she knows how to go.
Yes.
Right? Like tap 2-3 times. Like, you know how to tap.
Yes.
Right? And it's not like she goes unconscious or anything, like where it's a choke and you're like, oh, the person couldn't tap. Like, she knows how to tap.
Yes.
So maybe she kind of meant to tap or whatever. Regardless of that tap, that's not what Keith Peterson was stopping the submission for. He then stands over her. Again, these are milliseconds, but he stands over her, is looking at her. He's not looking at the tap or anything like that. And then he calls it, and then Bruce Buffer announces it as a verbal tap.
Yeah, that's where it's weird to me.
But I was surprised at the number of people online that were defending, saying it's a ref's job to protect the fighter. If he thought the arm was going to snap, he should have stopped it.
Yes.
That never, okay, but, and I get that that's where you're coming from too, but that never fucking happens.
I agree, but
you don't get refs going, oh, that rear naked choke looks pretty tough, and you're probably going to go to sleep. I'm going to stop it now.
But you know what? I watched
a choke is different than a snap.
Yeah, or not even. I'm trying to remember. Did you see that video recently of a ref a week or two ago that everyone's like, "Yo, this guy needs to
yeah.
We're like, "Yo, dude's clearly out cold, getting
out,
right?" And
right.
Oh, that could have led to that guy dying, right?
Yes, right.
And that's where I'd rather.
No, you can't. Okay, I mean, I'm glad that we're opposed because I like it when we argue. But holy moly, like, remember when this guy, when Mokaev, just a couple weeks ago, remember when he was deep in the armbar or whatever, and God knows he did not tap, and it looked like it was going to snap the whole time?
Yes.
He came out saying, I will never tap. I know it's a crazy thing to say. I'll go to sleep and break my arm. I'll never tap, blah, blah, blah. Right? Like, okay, cool dude. You know what I mean? But he was saying, like, no, who cares? Like, imagine if that same ref, if Keith Peterson was watching that Muhammad Mokaev fight, he would have stopped the fight.
You know what?
It's crazy. Get Keith Peterson on this podcast. Get the girl, and I apologize, her name. Let me find out her name. It's Piera Lafiera, I know, but I just don't know her last name. Duma? Hold on.
I think it also depends on
Rodriguez. Piera Lafiera Rodriguez.
I think that a big decision, kind of like in boxing, almost bare knuckle. Go watch a bare knuckle fight where it's not a championship or title contending type match.
Yeah.
They very often will call those fights earlier for a cut, right? You go into the championship rounds,
Yeah.
they'll let those guys be pouring from the face. I almost feel like that's,
Yeah.
I don't know, but you're right. And who
But
else
I just think like if now after this, refs think that they can call submissions due to a perceived injury, the internet will be ablaze with people being angry of all these fights being stopped short because the ref has determined that, well, his arm was probably going to break, so I just stopped it. Dude, you don't know. Like, you can't know that. I posted this on Twitter. DC says she would have tapped anyways. To justify the stoppage, I said, is the stupidest thing I've ever heard on this horrible broadcast so far. And that's saying something. Because, goddamn, I apologize, but the UFC broadcast is getting a little bit worse and worse. I mean, if Bisping wasn't drunk that whole podcast, he's like slurring words. It's really weird. Like, I feel like, anyways, it was bad. But fucking DC says she was gonna tap anyways.
Yeah.
He's psychic?
He's not. And that's where, you know what? Go back to all about, like, I remember Ken Shamrock brought up the Izzy fight that he lost to Alex, their first fight in the UFC. And Ken Shamrock recently was like, you know what? If I was that ref, I wouldn't have called it for Izzy when he did. And his opinion was, there's certain champions that they have a certain level of heart. They can look like they're out, right?
Yeah.
But they will come out and get that win, right? And so sometimes I wonder, like, I would hate to be in a match and maybe that ref doesn't know the heart I have or the ability that I have, and that they would,
or the flexibility or the pain threshold or the pain tolerance.
Right. And like, furthermore, I can only imagine being on a win streak and like losing a match that way and going down the rankings and just, so yeah.
Like, crazy. So that was like probably one of the worst calls I've seen lately. Was Gillian, okay, let me just clarify this. Was Gillian Robertson going to get the tap or snap that arm? Yes, I have no doubt in a million years that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But let Fiera Rodriguez get to the point that she wants to make that decision.
I agree.
Let her arm get snapped or let her tap.
I agree.
I don't think it's the ref's job to step in there. Very controversial, apparently, to all the 12-year-olds I'm fighting with online, but, you know, whatever. Yeah. What is next for Gillian Anderson? I'm going to say right now, I think Gillian Anderson needs to fight the Karate Hottie.
You think so?
I think that's a good matchup because Gillian Anderson has gone down to strawweight. She's not ranked. Obviously, with this win in impressive fashion, she now has the most submissions in women's UFC history now. I think she needs to take on a ranked opponent. I think Michelle Waterson, just coming off a loss right around the same week too, they can probably wait the same amount of time. And I feel like that's a good fight.
I agree.
So I think Gillian Robertson versus Karate Hottie is the next fight to make at strawweight. I'd like to see that fight. That's a pretty cool fight. Another thing that happened on the weekend, Brady Bunch, which was probably the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in UFC. No, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in sports. Do you know what I'm talking about? What was the most beautiful thing in the world that happened, Brady Bunch? Brought a tear to people's eyes.
This weekend?
Yeah.
Why am I going blank?
Because you have a heart of stone.
Maybe.
If you did not cry at this. Ed Herman and Zach Cummings embracing and retiring together. Did you see this?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. You're laughing at me. Did you not find this beautiful?
I'm not like you.
Really? Oh man, I was touched by that. I thought that was the ultimate sign of martial arts respect, honor, you know, whatever. Just the loyalty, the honor, the respect, all that. Is that John Cena? I don't know what I'm doing, but
I agree.
It was beautiful. Like and the way that they paid respect to one another. They both spoke on the mic so heartfelt about their families and everything like that. I thought it was gorgeous. I don't know. No, you were just like, whatever, losers, get going.
You know what? No, you're right. You're right.
No, I don't have to be. It's fine.
Good for them both. I guess, you know what? I'll say this. Maybe the MMA world needs more of that. More of the respecting your opponents. Yeah, I don't even know. The fact that they were hugging like that, though, that's what made me laugh.
What, you thought it was too... Did I take too sensual of a photo here? I don't know. What is your...
It's just... I'm sorry. And you know, you can tell by the look on his face, right? Like, authentic, the emotion. I can't imagine. Good for them, right?
Yeah. No, I thought it was beautiful. Ed Herman, man, Ultimate Fighter season 2 or 3, like, I mean, and I also want to say that was the perfect matchup in fight for people that were close to retirement. Those are two guys that were perfectly matched. Right? They didn't put Ed Herman up against Israel Adesanya, you idiots. Like, you give him a guy that's close. Yes, he lost, but it was, close-ish.
I didn't know he was the longest tenured fighter.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is he? Yeah. Like, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess time-wise, yeah. Because who else is coming from that time?
Right.
Lawler? Maybe Lawler, though. No? Wouldn't Lawler be close to that?
I'm trying to think.
But Lawler would have been in another organization. No, Lawler was before that, because back in...
He came from, what was it, WEC?
Strike Force?
Strike Force.
Or whatever. But he was in UFC 4. Anyways, whatever. Let's not fact check that. The fact of the matter is, dude is old as shit, but put on a hell of a good performance. Not great, but hell of a good performance. Respectful performance in front of his family and his kids. And Zach Cummings did a great job. Retires in his hometown. Anyways, beautiful all around. Brady Bunch does not think so. All right. Next thing we'll talk about is, and I wanted to talk about this with Robert, is how hard do you spar?
Ooh, I like that. I saw Max Holloway's post.
So yes, there was my tie-in, the fact that Max Holloway does not spar at all.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then, so, there's a champion who over time has realized, hey, I'm not going to waste on that. I'm not going to spar at all, which is crazy. And he's a champion and he looks amazing. So there's got to be something to it. Then you get videos like this. And I think this is at House of Dragons. It's a gym out in the States, but this is a video they post of their fighters in training.
I bet you.
So what you talking about? I'm not running out my mouth. I know this without a new. Many will call, but the chosen the few. We rise to the top. What you want, just in case you forgot. Rush the stage, grab my mic, show me what you got.
All right.
That is, and I saw at the top there, that is at House of Dragons International. I hope stupid YouTube doesn't cut that out. Brady Bunch, thoughts, comments?
So I find it really interesting because I remember when we interviewed your buddy Bam Bam, he was all against the sparring too. I was talking about like that was his new strategy, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I remember him being like, "Yo, I know enough about this, right? I'm gonna focus on cardio and all that." So with studies, right, we're learning that I got into a fight with someone about this. They're acting like they knew it all. But like, yes, wearing headgear and wearing gloves causes more brain damage than like not wearing a glove, right?
Wait, what's wrong with headgear?
So headgear actually increases the shaking of your brain when you get hit. So I've been reading about some amateur orgs that are now like dropping the headgear because I guess science is showing the gloves and the headgear actually lead to more long-term shaking and damage. Whereas I guess a bare fist to a bare head causes damage, can lead to some shaking, but it's a whole different thing, right? We know about CTE, right? Mm-hmm. We see a lot of punch-drunk older fighters. I know you know some. Mm-hmm. And it makes me wonder, right? You got a form of dementia that is tied to getting like think it's nicknamed like after being a pugilat, boxer.
Yeah.
So like in my opinion, those guys are idiots, right?
Wait, which ones?
Those
the ones
guys
that are
like sparring that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you are a House of Dragons athlete and want to come on this podcast or support us financially, I do not agree with the statement of Brady Bunch.
That's true. I'm sorry.
It is okay. Come on, that is crazy. If you are, I mean, to me, those guys are going to kill each other. The one guy that does the spinning heel kick,
yes,
full force.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And that's where, like, to go back, I've seen other videos like that, right?
Yeah.
Where they go all out, right? So first of all, one of you is going to get hurt eventually, right? That's going to cut into the amount of time you can train, right? You're going to get extra damage. And here's the truth. A lot of times when I see people sparring that way, they're often losing their form and just like, they're just beating the shit out of each other. And to go back, I went to sparring yesterday, kickboxing. And what really got to me was, we switch partners. Imagine I go up to a guy and we're ending in clinch, right? I took my mouthpiece out. We use no helmets in my kickboxing gym, right? Part of the reason I dig it is like it's kind of light. We're not really, most of us aren't trying to hurt each other. I was told to go drill my clinch with some guy.
And you take your mouth guard out?
I had it out already because I'm used to sparring with the other people that like I know won't be using so much force. This guy hit me immediately right in the face with a fucking elbow, right?
Yeah.
Like complete prick. Meanwhile, and the guy's like twice my size too, right?
Yeah.
And it made me think like, yo, I still have some pain there. A, I learned my lesson. I'm keeping my mouthpiece in, but B, motherfucker, we were just training. Right. Like it wasn't a serious spar. And there you are, like throwing real elbows and fucking knees the very second we start. Right. And what I wanted to say was like, hey, I'm going to avoid that guy at the gym from now on.
Yeah.
Because he's the type that will get me hurt before a fight. I'm sorry. I'm blabbering.
No, not at all. No, everything you're saying is 100% correct. First of all kids always leave your mouth guard in. Fact. Like not only for the fact that it's safe, but you need to get used to wearing it too.
Mm-hmm.
What I hate is if I start wearing my mouth guard after I haven't in a while, man, my jaw just hurts because just holding it in, it makes your jaw a little bit funny. So like you got to get rid of that feeling too. So you kind of got to condition yourself out of that. But no, keep your mouth guard in, goddamn, because you also don't know what idiot is going to do something.
Yes.
And I also agree with you. You got to pick your sparring partners correctly. Especially before a fight and blah, blah, blah. But there was, when I used to train MMA, there was this one guy and he was more of a jiu-jitsu guy, but I always remember we would spar and I think he did it a couple times, but like we'd be sparring and I'd be like against the wall or, the fence. Well, we didn't have a fence, but I'm against the wall and he was kind of like, giving it to me and he would just throw a spinning back fist, like fucking so hard. And like I remember he did it twice and both times I blocked it, but I was like, holy shit. Like that would have fucking knocked me out pretty badly had I not, Yeah. I was just like, buddy, easy. Like what's going on? Anyways, hard sparring. Yeah, so Max Holloway doesn't spar at all. Yeah, that's right. Bam Bam, I think, said that he goes pretty light on the sparring, like not really. So
I will say this. My boxing gym spars fucking hard. Where what I will say is that guy that runs that place, a former champ, very punch drunk. But like, yes.
You want to know another funny story?
Yeah.
When I was doing one of my when I was working a job, and let's say it was in the medical field, and because I never tell people what I do, right? But so I was working. Let's say I'm in the medical field, and there's this old guy, Eastern European guy, and he was a boxer, or former boxer, and he told me that when he used to train kids in Eastern Europe, that he would go to the parents. This was such a funny story. He told me that he would go to the parents and say, hey, your kid wants to be a boxer. Are you okay with this? And he would have a conversation, he said, where the kid didn't know. And I would talk to the parents and make sure that you want your kid to be a boxer. You're sure. And then he would say, okay, so I'm going to do something. You okay with this? And the parents would go, yeah, got it. And he goes the next day they're in training and he would say to the kid, you sure you're going to be a boxer? You sure you want to be a boxer? Yep. The kids, yep. Bam! He would break their nose with a shot. Because he said the first time, and I don't know if this is true. I've never scientifically checked this Eastern European boxing coach.
Yeah.
But he said the first time you get your nose broken, you pass out 100%.
Interesting.
But once it's broken and then it fixes, the next time it breaks, you don't go unconscious.
Interesting.
So
I broke my nose 3 times, I was told. And
did you?
I didn't even know.
Hmm.
So what's interesting is like I'm thinking back to an incident when I was really young that hurt a lot and kind of did take me out. And then I think those other times I just kind of carried on. And so I think there's something to the theory that you break it once, you're better.
Yeah. So anyways, I just always remember that funny story. And I'm like, so you just were like breaking children's noses? And he's like, yeah.
So they go back to this crazy punch drunk boxing guy. I watched parents come in. They want their kids to be boxers, and then they're back within a week. And they're demanding for their money back because this guy makes these kids cry, right? And I talk to the parents. He's a little too hard, but he's like, "Your kid wants to be a fighter, and they're a crybaby, right?" To be fair, a trainer there, my first time fucking sparring there, they broke my back tooth, and it was a similar scenario. You got me thinking. I'm wondering if this is a strategy. I remember they kept telling me, "So you want to be a boxer? You want to be a boxer? Come in the ring."
And they test.
Clocked me so hard. I didn't even tell them that they broke my tooth, right? I kept going. I remember being like, shit, what did I get myself into? I'll tell you this, though. I've never been hit as hard since.
Because you learned to block or dodge, or because you just...
I think, A, they wanted to teach me a fucking lesson. It was completely, yes, I did not block. But B, I don't know. Blabbering, I'm sorry.
No, that's what this is about. Anyways, the hard sparring I just thought was an interesting concept, and like, you know, how do you deal with that, or what do you do? But I don't know. And then I'm glad I'm going to quickly segue into my last topic, which I thought was something interesting, and I hope I have this as a picture. I do. Okay, so we're talking about hard sparring, right?
Yes.
I like today's podcast. I feel like everything's flowed into one another. We're talking about hard sparring. We're talking about people getting knocked out, being punch drunk into your future and stuff, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about the CTE and how that's going to affect you. We've talked a little bit about people's plans post-fighting and like their plans into their future.
Yes.
This I caught on, I forget what the hell it was. It was someone's Instagram post. And then, do you know the ex-UFC fighter, Violent Bob Ross? The Violent Bob Ross, that guy?
Why does it sound familiar?
Well, he got charged with some domestic problems. That's why he got let go by the UFC. But he was the Violent Bob Ross. I think he was from maybe a season of The Ultimate Fighter. His like cool, like almost like Sideshow Mel looking hair. Anyways, that dude. And then there's another guy, the Spartan or whatever. Anyways, these are two pro MMA fighters. And they were commenting under some post. I just took a snapshot of it here. The first guy says something like, "I feel your pain. I'd apply for a normal job, but I don't know how." And then Violent Bob Ross says, "I swear, man, the other day I was just thinking about how I've given my life to the sport, but I have no way of operating a normal life."
I could relate a little bit.
Well, hold on. You've got a job. You've got a career.
I fucking struggle sometimes because I love all this other shit so much more that if I could choose, I'd be in the fucking gym all day, fighting all day, training all day. And and I do find like, so yes, I have a career, but there are a lot
and you have skills. You have a career and you have skills. You have an education. You have things that you can rely on.
In a way, yes, you're right. I agree there.
I think there's, fighters such as these two conversing that I just picked this out. And maybe they're joking. Okay, fine. Maybe they're joking. but I don't think so.
And you know what?
But it's like, shit, what are these dudes going to do after you fight? Like, you got to prepare. You got to plan. You got to plan your career.
And that's part of why I've been secretly stressing out a little bit. Going back to our last guest, where he's talking about how a year could go by and you have all these plans and stuff.
Wait, which last guest? You mean Robert?
Yes, right?
Like today. Okay, yeah.
Where was I going with this? Crap.
You're saying you're just stressing over like future and how fast time flies and what are you going to do?
Yes. And part of me is like, yo, I love this. Should I really be focusing more on my career at the moment? If I spend too much on this fighting shit, is 5 years going to go by? I'm going to be like, holy shit. Like all the other things I should have been focusing on, maybe I should have, right? But guess what? I have the crazy fighter in me and the heart where I got to keep going and trying this shit for 2 more years.
Right. Yeah. Hey, look, you do whatever you're going to do. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that for you, it might be less impactful because like, even if you're not thinking about it, you've got skills to support yourself post-fight life, right? Like, you've got something that's going to help support you post-fight life, or that you'd be able to figure something out. Yeah. But some of these fighters, and like, if you're a young fighter, I mean, it was nice. Like, so then when we're talking to Robert today, right? So he's a young fighter out in Canada, and I didn't know. One of my questions was going to be around like, what's after fighting? Because he's 27 years old. He's only had a couple of fights, so like he's kind of new into it. I know he wants to go, but he was saying, hey, I've got jobs, I do things, I blah, 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 right? Like, he hasn't abandoned financial security in pursuit of his dream, which is good, which I like to hear because I did want to talk to him about that. So, I just thought that was really funny when those guys are putting that up. I was like, oh, guys, you got to get to something.
You know what, though? You have me thinking, too. It's not just with fighting. I've known quite a few people. So if anyone's listening, here's some advice. Follow your passions, but you always have a plan B and C.
Right.
Because I know quite a few people that dedicated their lives to football and sports like that. One person in particular didn't focus much in school, full ride to college, was a star. Walking home from a party one night, got hit by a drunk driver, shattered their legs. They never played again. And guess what? This person ended up becoming addicted to drugs, homeless. And they told me, this was advice they gave me, they didn't focus on plan B and C, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, yes, hope some of these fighters, hopefully as time goes on, maybe there'll be, Muay Thai college teams, and there'll be a way to create, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
A course where you can go and chase this dream while focusing on a career as well in school. I'm blabbering. I'm sorry.
No. It's right. No, but we talked about it. There's, if you are a fighter or you're interested about financial stuff after, like, I would say go check out our podcast with Jake Matthews, who talks about it, and he's running programs to help tutor and educate people on what to do and how to financially plan your life. So, and he offers those services to anybody. You just hit him up, and he's putting together an organization and whatever to help people with that. So, there's things out there, but you can't just like let it go and just imagine that it's going to work itself out after, right? Like, you have to do stuff. Yes. That said, and then this will be my last segue, is Josh the Gentleman Hill, Bellator fighter, friend of the podcast, former guest of the podcast. He just announced that he is now he's in charge of Canadian talent for Sucker Punch Entertainment.
Wait. All right, keep going.
Yeah. So the Canadian head of talent or whatever for Sucker Punch Entertainment, which is the massive agency, right? They have everybody. Rose Namajunas, Carla, Jamal Hill, our friend Jenna Bishop, Angela Hill, blah blah blah. Right? Like, they have everybody. That dude, Brian Butler Ow, I believe is the owner's name. Super nice guy. He's spoken with me for the podcast and talked to me. Very, very nice dude. He has such a monopoly on this thing, But Josh Hill is now the head of the Canadian. So I reached out to Josh. I said, congratulations. So publicly, congratulations, Josh Hill. And I told him right away, I said, hey, man, you got Canadian fighters that you want on this podcast. You just say the word and they will be here. So I'm very happy to be able to have that connection as well. So we can get some other Canadian talent, which is cool. And he said, yeah, for sure. He had actually sent me a guy today that is fighting this Sunday in Toronto at Rebel Nightclub. I don't know. I might go check out these fights. Apparently there's MMA fights right around the corner from me.
Why not?
Yeah, I really should. And so there's a guy on there. I'm going to give him a shout out. Gino Galapardes. I apologize. I'm not going to say that right. But Gino Galapardes, apparently he is fighting on the card this Sunday, April 23rd. It is at Prospect Fighting Championship 16. So he was supposed to be on the podcast today. He was actually going to be our second guest, but he was working. So good for him for having a job. And he was working, so he couldn't make it today. But good luck to him. Maybe I will see him on Sunday.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so some cool stuff happening in the world of MMA. What else is happening? Anything else happening with you that we need to say before we go?
Yeah, so as long as I don't screw this up, being an ADHD autistic mess.
Got it.
In case any listeners know, I'm diagnosed with both, right? So don't judge me for saying that. But but basically, Rough and Rowdy reached out. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago.
You posted something, and I'm like, what is this? Okay.
Yeah, so imagine Brittany Vaughn, who fought for Rough and Rowdy in the past, as you know, fought G. Marie, that chicken that's dodging me. It sounds like Brittany reached out to this organization and challenged me. I heard she has a call-out video, and then they called me. So I'm supposed to make my call-out video, and it sounds like we're going to be meeting, I think it's May 27th or May 28th.
Holy shit.
For a boxing match, Rough and Rowdy style. So I'm just really excited, a little nervous. I got weight to cut. I got to lose like 30 pounds, I think. Which I literally, considering the timing, I'm a little nervous about. But I'm super excited about that.
That's amazing. Where's that going to be? That's New York.
So actually, no. It's so funny where they're going to have this. They're having it in West Virginia, actually. Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay.
It's going to be on pay-per-view. Barstool Sports is going to be there.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have Sarah show up in my corner.
Yeah, Sarah Ferrugia, our was it our first guest of the new year? Sarah Ferrugia, who fought for Rough and Rowdy. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm loving everything she posts, by the way.
Yeah, she does a good job on her Instagram. Not fight related anymore though. What the frick?
Yes,
but,
yes.
Okay.
We need to get her back involved, right?
Yeah.
But I have that. I will talk to you off camera.
So wait, what is that? May what?
I think 27th or 28th. I think weigh-ins are Thursday and the fight is Friday.
Shouldn't you be in a sauna right now?
So guess what? I'm you maybe saw me having my MCT oil.
Okay.
Friggin' liquids because yes, I'm doing.
Wait, May. Hold on, I apologize. May what?
I think 27th or 28th.
That's a Saturday or Sunday. And we are 1, 2.
So I think it's on a Friday. I think it's a Friday night.
Oh, so that would be the 26th then. May 26th. So you're like 5.5 weeks out.
Yeah.
So you are in prime fight camp.
Yeah.
As we speak.
Yeah. I'm doing.
All right. Well, shit.
3 hours straight last night to end my night. Sparring and all.
You may have to pull. What they did on The Ultimate Fighter, when that one girl had to shave her head to cut weight, to make weight on the scale.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk, but I used to be a wrestler. I know some tricks.
You're gonna hold the towel, DC style.
DC style.
Yep.
You know what? I'm a little nervous. I better make weight. I'll be so mad if I don't make weight. But after that, I may have spoken about this in the past. Fight Circus wants me to fight for them.
Right.
IFL wants me to fight for them. I'm trying to find an opponent, hopefully for a Muay Thai match. IFL, it would literally be June 10th. So like I might literally have
Like,
2 fights
a
within
week and a half after.
Yes. BKFC. I spoke with some people today about BKFC. I'm still being promised fights if I get my fucking paperwork in order. A cool thing is the people I spoke to today, as you know, with our last guest, it's like, yo, where do you go train bare knuckle? It just so happens that people are being spoken to that have like bare knuckle gyms in the UK. So they're talking about maybe me flying out there for a couple weeks to actually train pure bare knuckle.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm going through this weird period where I'm such a mess. I hope I can make all these fights happen as long as I get organized, make weight. And I'll fill you in more, Tim, about some other things I don't think I can share.
Well, geez Louise, I thought it was just going to be, yeah, I had a nice dinner yesterday and my life is going well. But boy, you drop a lot of bombs, a lot of fights news that is coming up. So yeah, of course, like everybody's going to support you like crazy. If this May thing happens, that is crazy quick and cool. How far, I apologize, just very quickly, how far away is that from where you live? Like,
So bad.
is that,
Probably-
that's a flight or a drive?
I could drive. Probably
but
like 7 hours, maybe.
Oh,
Nothing
gee,
crazy.
okay, so okay, but it's not nothing. All right, well, congratulations on that. I'll talk to you about that off air. Everybody else, thank you for joining the podcast. Thanks for checking us out as always. Really, really appreciate it. Please do follow and subscribe to us. I mean, we've said that for 116 episodes in a row. I feel like if you're a follower and you haven't been following us, well then fuck, we're not going to get you on episode 117, So, but just, tell your friends and everything. And if you're new to the podcast, please do follow and subscribe to us here, everywhere, wherever you're hearing us or whatever, Spotify, YouTube, all that. We will be back next week. Sadiq Yusuf, UFC. Like I said, we've got some cool guests lined up, and that's about it. Brady Bunch. I'm gonna put a couple of videos up here for people to check out. Maybe I'll put the Jake Matthews one or whatever. But anyways, you can find all our library as you always do. So thank you, Brady Bunch.
Thank you as always.
Have a good
See you
one.
all next week.
See ya.